Joining us now is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jim Jordan, 2016 Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski, and former deputy 2016 Trump campaign manager Dave Bossie. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us. Congressman, I'll go to you first.
Sure.
The left is absolutely losing its mind over President Trump's tweet suggesting that Florida, in a pandemic, is performing decently. I mean, nobody's performing great. It's a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Is this just evidence of how this hyper-partisan, sick media culture, even a virus, gets politicized?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the cancel culture mob. This is the way today's left it operates. But you used the right word earlier, Dan, when you used the word freedom. I mean, think about it. Right now, there are over 60 million Americans who live in a state that has a stay-at-home order or a curfew. In Ohio, you have to be in your home at 10 o'clock. In Pennsylvania, when you're in your home, you have to wear a mask. And in Vermont, when you're in your home, you don't have to wear a mask because you're not allowed to have people over. So government's telling you when you can leave your home, who you can have in your home, and what you have to wear while you're there. If that isn't an assault on your freedom, and we find out the states that are doing this have worse numbers than states that are actually opened up and allowing people to exercise their liberty, open their business, and exercise freedom. That is the fundamental issue at stake here, and I'm glad the president's talking about it. We all need to be talking about it.
Yeah, Corey, I'll go to you next here. Again, I find it sad, tragic, and really disturbing that California, which is engaged in these ridiculous lockdowns right now, I was reading a number today that just totally blew my mind. That when you look at hospitalizations per million, California is actually has more hospitalizations per million people than Texas and Florida combined. And I live in Florida. Listen, it's relatively open for business. You walk out, people come down here like, what happened? There's people in restaurants. I saw Dave Rubin tweeting about it. He was like, I was in this crazy place called a restaurant. People brought food out. It was bizarre. I mean, it's just crazy pills with the media.
Yeah, but Dan, you have to remember something. These government officials haven't cared about small business owners. They haven't cared what they've done to these people who built their businesses over 20 and 30 years. And let me ask you this question, Dan. How many government employees, whether it's county employees, municipal employees, or state employees, have been laid off during the pandemic? The answer is none. Government continues to grow. These governors have failed their states. They've failed the people who put them in office. And what they've done is they've destroyed the economy for tens of millions of people in perpetuity. New York is not going to recover anytime soon. And what we're seeing because of the high tax burden in New York City, because of the closures, because of the ineptitude of both the governor and the mayor of New York City, is the people who can get out of the city are doing that. It's going to have a permanent damage on those big communities for a long time. And more people are going to move to your state, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have a friend that owns a private airport, Dave. He said the private airport, he goes, you have no idea how many people, not just through PBI and Miami Airport and Fort Lauderdale. He goes, there are people flying down privately. They're like Snake Plissken. They can't escape from New York quick enough, you know?
Well, people with money are going to reject California, reject New York. You know, look, your average person in California right now is signing petitions to recall their incompetent governor. This is enough is enough. The American people are fed up. Remember the 15 days to flatten the curve? We're going on a year here where they're destroying the American way of life. They're destroying schools. They're destroying our sports. They're destroying our churches. It doesn't matter. There's no place that's off limits to the government overreach. And that's what's so dangerous. And look, remember Dr. Fauci used to say, oh, don't wear a mask. It doesn't matter. Masks don't do anything. Now, of course, we have mask mandates in state after state after state across this country. Look, the American people are very smart, and they know how to take care of themselves and their families, and they don't need the government to do it for them. So we have a long way to go here, and we're in a dangerous spot with socialism on the rise. And that's why, to be honest with you, that's why these 2 Georgia Senate seats matter so much next month.
Yeah, no, that's true. Congressman, you know what worries me about this on a very serious note? You know, I feel like the scientific method and the search for facts are just dead. I mean, what is the scientific method? You have a hypothesis and you test it. The hypothesis were, well, lockdowns would slow the spread. The data is not there to support that, and yet we continue to bankrupt people in states, you know, people like you represent. It's kind of sick.
Yeah, it sure is. Let America work again. Make America free again. That's what we should be focused on.
Right.
And I fail to accept this premise that somehow government cares more about a small business owner's employees. Government somehow cares more about a small business owner's customers than the small business owner. It's just ridiculous. We need to make America free again. Focus on that. Talk about that. And I think the American people are starting to get it and starting to push back.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos. Corey, there was a video of a business owner. You know, he used his truck and he blocked in a health inspector. Yep. He's like, listen, if I can't work, you can't work. The video went viral. It was all over the place. I mean, listen, this is a government by the people, for the people. It was supposed to be. I mean, how long can this possibly go on before people collectively say, listen, I've had enough. I got to feed my family.
Dan, we've seen gym owners in New Jersey with $1.2 million in fines because they couldn't continue to operate their business, even though there was no science whatsoever that COVID was being spread in their facility. We're now seeing people, even in the furthest reaches of our country, in the western part, all the way up in Washington state, suing their governor for money to say, let us run our businesses. Governor Whitmer has destroyed Michigan's economy right now, and the states that have remained open are doing better than ever. Their tourism industry, their restaurant industry, their tax base is improving every single day. They have done what has been necessary to take the precautions to curb this COVID virus that is impacting our country. But we also have to have personal responsibility, and that's what's missing here with some of these overzealous, overreaching governors.
Hey, Dave, quick final answer here. I got about 30 seconds here. Do you see any political change coming from this? I mean, people are clearly getting fed up, and it's sadly Democrats leading the way with the lockdowns.
Well, the only good thing I can see is a long-term rejection of big government. That's going to be the one thing, Dan, that you and I have been fighting for a long, long time. High taxes and big government and that overreach. I think this is a perfect example for the American people. If they can shut you down, they can do anything to you. If they could shut your schools, determine who gets a vaccine and who doesn't. This is what big government is, and this is what we've been warning about as conservatives for decades.
Yeah, I wish you weren't right, but you are, Dave. Congressman Jordan, Corey, Dave, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.